It's Before 6 and time for Leroy Wine Guy Guilford. Before 6 is a weekly wine commentary by Leroy and his friends in the wine lifestyle world. Before 6 is brought to you in part by Tour of Temecula Map Guide, your guide to all the fun of our Southern California wine country. Available at fine retailers, restaurants, hotels, and wineries, and at TemeculaMapGuide.com. And by Grow Grapes Make Wine. Have you ever wondered, can I live the wine dream as an amateur or as a professional? Well, yes you can. Just call Leroy the Wine Guy Guilford at 951-570-3278. That's 951-570-3278.
On Before 6 this week, my guests are Nushin and Gunther Dietzes. So this Thanksgiving weekend, we're continuing thanks for the whole idea of grow grapes, make wine. Oh, yes, you can do it too. So Gunther and Nushin, welcome to Before 6 on the Peter Dill Show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on your show. Appreciate it, Leroy.
Well, we want to tell your fun story because once again, we love to tell the dream coming true. And a lot of people think, oh my gosh, the wine industry doesn't cost $1 bazillion. It can to get into, but you can start at a reasonable, small family level, right? So let's start by talking about the story, okay? How you guys ended up in wine country. Why wine country? Figuring out the dream, you got to have some property, right? And that's what you do in real estate. And then landing on that property, where do we go next? And you met this guy at this winery a while ago, and we'll talk about that. And then when it was time, how you tracked him down, and then we'll look forward for there. So let's tell the story, Gunther.
Sure. So I think we'll go back to meeting you. It was around 2013, because that was really essentially the time we started scoping out Temecula Valley.
Right.
Nushin had heard through her friend that, there's a lot of wineries out here, and she'd always want to go up to Napa, but this was closest, so we just took a drive over the hill.
And cheaper, by the way.
And cheaper, and we're finding out much better wine out here. So we came out here just to scope it out, just see what Temecula was all about. 2013, we hit the main ones up here on Rancho California, and made our way all the way back in the hills to Chapin Winery. And that's where we met you, and you were just an encyclopedia of information as far as the history of wine, not just here in Temecula, but in Southern California in general. That's where I learned really where Orange County came from, it's funny enough. So from that trip, we says, really like it here. We like the layout of the land. Yeah, there's wineries out here. So we kept our eye on it, but that was 2013. And at that time, we were on holiday from where we were living and working at the time, which is in the Middle East. So really didn't pull the trigger on anything that time, but the dream started.
Right.
Okay. Fast forward 2015, I came home from the Middle East end of that year and got a job out here in Temecula. Was able to really start looking at places where we could possibly lay down some roots. Took us a while before we started finding anything, and I think we looked around December of last year.
So now we're on your property where the whole dream has begun. Let's talk about that.
Wasn't easy getting here.
Right.
We had actually gone through about 4 different transactions to get here. They fell through for one reason or another, but we ended up here. Liked it the whole time. We had it in mind that we wanted to grow grapes. So
right.
Didn't know how to do it. Didn't have really a solid plan, but we just knew that you needed land.
Right.
5 acres was a good place to start. So we were looking in the 5-acre range,
Right.
and we ended up here and we found it. So here we are. We got the land. It wasn't quite ready for growing grapes. There's some work we had to do on it.
Right.
Yeah. Previous owners had built a horse corral up front, or horse arena up front. So I had about an acre up front that was flat, scraped, bare. Nothing was growing out there after rains and whatnot. I'm staring at it, and I tried to hit it with my shovel, digging bars. I think I broke a few things on it, and nothing's going. So we had to bring out the big guns.
Right. But before in that process, okay, because we did sit down and map out the process. Let's talk about how you got there, okay?
All right. So knowing the steps you need to take and to do it properly was important. So talking to you, we found out there's some resources that we have here in Temecula. Was introduced to Greg Pennerell out there at Wilson Creek. He's got a great class, free,
Right.
SWAT's,
Southwest, the Small Wine Growers Association of Temecula, SWAT.org, yes.
Awesome. You show up, make sure you show up with a pen and lots of paper and take lots of notes. He just keeps going, and you just go out there with a lot more knowledge every single time we show up there. So he says, here's what you need to do to get started. And he laid me out the steps on before you even plant grapes, on how you need to get your land ready and what you need to do to determine if your land is
So
ready.
Greg's certainly one of the resources I plug people into because it's incredible. Let me dial back a little bit because let's talk about, we sat down and we spent a whole day together, right? You guys came and found me and says, Leroy, can you help us figure this out? So we sat in here at the table for a couple hours and we just let you espouse your dream.
Yep.
I made some notes and then we started talking about what are the regulations and the challenges if you're small and you want to grow bigger, and what are the steps you got to take. A lot of stuff that, can cause people to go, oh gosh, I don't know if I can do it. You can, and small people can do it. You just have to know how to step around the landmines, if you will. So we mapped it all out, kind of came up with a start point ABC plan, and let's talk about how you came upon that opportunity and what you needed to do after we walked the property and so on. So,
Well, I got a little Kubota out here, and one of the tools I broke out there was my little Kubota, and I've been trying to hit it and crack it and do whatever I can to get it halfway ready. But that's me coming from the city out to the country saying, all right, I don't know really much of anything. So in construction, I know that the bigger piece of machinery I have, the more you're going to do.
Right.
So we started looking around for someone with a Caterpillar, a bulldozer.
Right. And with the big giant, it looks like you're making a freeway, got the big giant ripping claws on the back.
Yes.
And we're running out of time now, so we got about 40 seconds to wrap up. So the last couple days, and here we are, folks. So what is this? The 15th today, right? So folks know, get a little feel for where they're listening right now. You spent the last 2 days. We did, watching your property get dug and ripped and recontoured. Exciting, right?
Wasn't that awesome?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We had the D8 out here. I just found that guy. We started on the 14th. I found him on the 13th at like 5 p.m. He says, I got a piece of equipment that's going to be free for a couple of days. I can see you at 7:30 in the morning. Sure enough, 7:30 in the morning, I got an 18-wheeler out there with a big D8 in the back of it. We unloaded it in the street, stopped all the traffic, pulled it up onto the property, and away we went.
And away you went. Okay, so we're going to pause the story at this point because, folks, this is an unfolding saga, and we're going to revisit with you again and talk about how the dream takes place and comes true. And yeah, you guys are a small family with the little 5 acres here. Yes, folks, you can start small. A lot of the big operators in this valley, don't tell them I said this, they forget that that's how they started too. Okay, so, all right, so you wonder, gee, how can we really do that? Well, there's this guy that you listen to every week, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, you can call me, Leroy, the wine guy, at 951-570-3278. And yes, we'll sit down and map out that dream, help you get plugged in and all to the right people, and maybe your dream can start too. You guys, thank you for joining us on Before 6 on the Peter Dill Show.
Awesome time. Thanks,
Thank you.
This has been Before 6 with Leroy Wine Guy Guilford, featured every week on the Peter Dill Show. Before 6 has been brought to you in part by Tour of Temecula Map Guide, your guide to all the fun of our Southern California wine country. Available at fine retailers, restaurants, hotels, and wineries, and at TemeculaMapGuide.com. And by Grow Grapes Make Wine. Have you ever wondered, can I live the wine dream as an amateur or as a professional? Well, yes you can. Just call Leroy the Wine Guy Guilford at 951-570-3278. That's 951-570-3278. Tour of Temecula Map Guide, the #1 source to all the fun of our Southern California wine country, now featuring expanded distribution monthly in over 250 locations throughout San Diego and the Inland Empire. Available at fine hotels, specialty shops, restaurants, wineries, and at TemeculaMapGuide.com. Headed for the fun of wine country, or maybe even our local microbreweries? Then hit TemeculaMapGuide.com or snatch up a copy at your favorite winery or shop. Tour of Temecula Map